What's going on, boys? We're back on the PX3 Perth Pro Players YouTube channel. We've got Michael Paxton here, top 8 at the OCE Nats. He was running the SS4 Goku and Vegeta deck, a powerful red deck, and he piloted all the way to top cut, only to miss out right in front of the sun. How was the day, Paxton?
Absolutely incredible day. Had a great time over the 2 days. Had met a lot of people I've talked to online, so it was good to actually see them in person, play some games. Had incredible opponents throughout the day. It was definitely tough. A lot of Crimson in the field as well, which obviously popped up because of America. They just showed it off, and everyone was jumping on that bandwagon. So I didn't jump on the bandwagon because I didn't play it often enough, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to stick with what I played, even though it wasn't the greatest matchup into Crimson. Played it 4 times over the day. I beat it 3 times and only lost to it once. So I had a little bit of practice into it, so it was tough work. Everyone was a tough game. I had to play my absolute hardest, and it worked in the end, paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. So, amazing result.
I'll show you guys what I've been doing. So, obviously the leader, you guys know what it is. Goku and Vegeta, absolutely incredible, really, really strong with the whole package. Just draws a shitload of cards. That's all I like. I love drawing cards. I love getting cheap threats. I love being able to go wide on a board as well. And that's just really, really strong. So, straight into the profile, we have 4 of Unison. This Unison's absolutely incredible, just really, really strong for any red deck really, but I think especially in this deck, just being able to play your 4 costs which become 1 costs, right, to just draw an insane amount of cards is just incredible. Especially extra attack on your turn 2 as well, which is really good. Means you can hopefully get your Awakening going on that turn 2 and not have to swing on the front side, which is really good.
Yeah, that extra swing is important.
Yeah, and if you can do that, and then potentially on your backside you can arrival either the Vegeta or Goku as well, which is great, and that's kind of what you want to have. Obviously Smoke's around in the format now, so this card can die very easily. So you have to be tactical when you play it, but your turn 2, if you've got it, you just slam it down and go for it. It's just absolutely incredible.
It's like the only Unison that replaces itself, and it can replace itself with an SCR. It's like...
Yeah, exactly right. Like, it's ridiculous, that effect, being able to just search off the top is just absolutely insane. So we have, of course, 4 Vegeta and 4 of the Goku. These are the guys that just draw you an insane amount, and obviously the perfect thing is that they're like the activate battle fodder for the Goku and the Vegeta as well, so that just kind of just makes it ridiculous, the fact that you play a card, draw a card, you can draw 2 cards off this 1 card, plus you get a body most of the time, right?
Huge value.
Absolutely insane. So these are probably like my favorite cards in the deck. I think they're ridiculous. These are probably the most searched as well off the Vegeta that you get to discard. You always just want to just find them. And then we have 4 of the Activate Battle Goku, and then 4 of the Activate Battle Vegeta. Again, both insane cards, being able to once again just combo those guys off, draw extra cards, and then be able to play these guys out for 1 energy is insane. I think another thing as well, a lot of people don't use is the Activate Battle, that when you combo it from the board, you pay your 1 energy, and then your leader gains the 5k and crit or 5k and double strike. I think a lot of people overlook that skill a lot of the time, and it's very, very strong, especially against blue, right? Knowing that they have Cell to go in from their Z battle cards, you want to just keep a clear board because you don't want dual attack crit coming through. So if you can obviously swing these guys and then swing with your leader and then pay them 1 energy to get the crit or the double strike on there, really, really powerful. I think that effect is overlooked and just absolutely incredible. Obviously draws on play, minuses on play.
Happy with these ratios? I know a lot of people have been cutting the Vegeta down a little bit.
I think it's perfect personally. I don't like taking this down, especially because sometimes you do actually do the pseudo arrival thing during your opponent's turn, right? To just minus a battle card by 15k. It's really, really strong, especially paired with some of the other things we've got in here as well. But I would definitely keep it as a 4/4. I like it that way. I will go with the sadness.
R.I.P. to boy.
R.I.P. to this guy. So obviously this guy's not played anymore, but he is very, very strong card. Being able to just be in your leader is just absolutely insane. So I'm going to miss him for sure, but this Vegeta is very, very important. I think there was a point where we were running at 2, and then we took it back up to 3, because you just want to be able to have the search whenever you need it. Again, we were searching a lot for this, and we're searching for the draws, but the arrival guy comes up as well, and sometimes you just need a searcher to find a Gogeta piece. That's the thing, right? So that's the important thing as well, is keeping track of how many Gokus and how many Vegetas you've used throughout the course of the game, because Gogeta eventually will come up, right?
And it's free deck knowledge.
Exactly right. Exactly right. You know where your SER is, you know where your super combos are, you know where your negates are, depending on what matchup you need to. So it's a very, very strong card. I definitely like this at 3. There is a potential that maybe we go a 4th in there eventually, right? There's a potential that you do that now that the Bean Goku is dead. And then we have 3 of the Gogeta. I personally feel like this is the right number. Again, running into a lot of blue across the course of the day. Obviously, blue has Dirty Burst, right? It's kind of frustrating, but you have to just play around as much as you can. It's not just you windmill this down against every matchup, right? There are some matches you don't windmill this down, you play around it. But especially blue. Card is ridiculous when it hits, though. I always love to pair it with the SCR. If you have it, have a look at their hand first, see what they've got. Do they have enough combo? No, cool, I'll kill you. Yep. Right, which is exactly what happened in one of my Crimson matchups against Reese. I looked at his hand, he had like a bunch of cards in hand, but was tapped down. Right, so it's completely tapped out. I got to look at his hand, I took away his Zeno super combo, so he wasn't able to use that to get an extra energy back, right? Yep. And then he had exactly to 35k in hand with 5ks, right? So I cleared his board. He obviously didn't have Dirty Burst or anything up, and then was able to finish off, which is absolutely insane. So sometimes that effect is just ridiculous. So if you can pair it with the SER, really, really strong. But I think perfect at 3. I wouldn't go up. I like it at 3. Now this was one we cut down to 3 to add in a Mai into the main, right? So 3 of this Goku, again, very, very important, this Goku, just because it is a searcher, it can find your pieces. Hopefully you find draws. Plus, sometimes you just need to use it on your leader effect, right? Or off your unison, right? Sometimes you just need to have that extra. You just get a search, you get a draw, you're getting pluses off every swing is what you want to be able to do. Plus, obviously, you get a combo in rest mode, which is insane as well. This Mai comes up. We have more on the side, but definitely against your blue matchups, you just want to have that in game 1, especially when you go into a best of 3. There is always a potential that you go up 1 more Mai if you wanted to, right?
So you were happy that you had that, because obviously day 1, best of 1, you could have slided in and out whenever you want, but you were happy you had at least 1 in deck for top cut day 2?
I was definitely happy I found this, and I drew the nuts game 1 against Tyson, who was playing Crimson. I found my 1 off turn 1. Right, which is absolutely insane. I wasn't expecting it, and it put in a lot of work over the course of that game. Obviously, pretty much just switching D-Maj off and forcing him to, I guess, play around it a little bit, or forcing him to go into the Beerus line and kill this, which I didn't really care too much either. You know what I mean? If that's what they kill with the Beerus, I think I'm happy at the end of the day. But definitely worth having at least 1 in that main for sure.
And if they're paying 4 energy for Beerus to get rid of a Mai, that's still pretty good.
Exactly right. And then we had 3 Crown. Now I swear I crowned maybe like once over the whole weekend. Like no one wanted me to see their hands. Everyone was tapping down, and then so many people were dirty bursting this on the play, which most of the time I was actually happy with. I think if you dirty burst this, I just can pivot very quickly and do other things. And your Z battle cards, obviously in this deck, are absolutely insane. You build up Z energy very quickly as well. So your Vegeta's very, very strong, and your Goku as well. So I really, really like this card. There is a potential that you cut this down to 2. And then you put another Divine Presence in, which I'll show later, right? Just to have the 2/2 in the main, and then you side maybe the 3rd if you need it. But this is definitely a very, very strong card, especially if you're baiting out Dirty Bursts.
Yeah,
and if
absolutely.
You can look at people's hands, obviously it's way better. Hand knowledge is incredible.
So many times playing that card, I wish I could rip the Dirty Burst from their hands, so the fact that they use it, it's essentially doing the same thing. Pretty much.
So I was definitely happy. For Raditz, so this was a switch that we did. So initially we were running the Beerus super combo, obviously, because that early game pressure is very, very important. The issue was that we found that every time we played Sin, you really wanted to just get those draws going, and it hurt not having those draws. It obviously sucks not having super combos in the early turns, but the fact that it's searchable as well off your effects, it's searchable off your leader, right? Makes a huge difference as well. It means you can just get super combos. You can start like turtling up to protect against Sin. So I definitely think this was the right choice over the course of the weekend. And you have ways to go down to 4. Obviously, you've got negates, you've got your Z battle card, plus you have. What else have we got? Oh, that's it. I think that's it. Eventually people attack you though, right? But you have ways to go down if you need to.
And right? Crimson being top deck of the format, it was actually quite an aggro deck as well. So you'd be put to 4, and the filter was always very welcome.
It's very, very strong. Now this was probably one of my favorite cards. I think people are aware of it, but I don't think people realize how good this card actually is. That's what I have the feeling. If people build up a wide board, it can literally just like switch off whole turns, which I did quite a few times, where people just went really wide. And then I was just like, all right, cool, just -10 off the whole board. So everything becomes irrelevant, right? Especially if you've got you had your Bean Gokus back then as well, and being able to be like a 20k is absolutely ridiculous against when you got something like this as well. So it was very, very strong, and there's people that tried to like, I guess, push through. And then the other, obviously, adding it to Z effect is very, very strong, very good in the mirror match, being able to -15k. If they swing with the Vegeta first, right, you can just do the -15k. It's completely kidding. Sorry, the Z Vegeta, I should say, right?
Sure, yeah.
If they do that, you can just kill it, get rid of it. Then you don't have to deal with the double strike or anything like that. I definitely love this little tech. I think it's absolutely incredible. I feel like it's probably been every red deck, really. Now, this is probably like a weird one. I don't think many people are playing this at all. So we put Topo in the main again for Sin, right? So the big issue with Sin, obviously, is they're very, very aggressive in those first few early turns, which is very tough. What you need to do is you kind of want to like stall the game out on your side, so then you can go into your Gogeta and start clearing out, right? That's kind of the whole game plan. Topo allowed you to do that, because then if they started swinging through, they're starting to lose a few cards from hand, which allowed you to make it a little bit easier to combo against, right? Obviously, they've lost their crit now as well, but I think a 30k triple striker is still absolutely ridiculous, being able to swing in. So having something like this was able to stall. Other good thing of this is any road decks that just kind of popped up throughout the day, it was always nice to have a Topo, right? So that was always a really, really good thing. I liked having it in the main. I think it was definitely worth keeping that in, and I probably would keep it in again. Now, I think down to our battle card one. So we got one Divine Presence. Now, this card is absolutely insane in the Crimson match. Right? Whole reason it's in here, but puts in so much work, right? Obviously, you get to play it. Most of the time, I plus it by 5k, right? So it's a 25, and then on the swing, you get another plus 5k. As well, right? So that's absolutely insane. You're a base 30k, right? Which means then Crimson has to start comboing out a lot. And the really important thing is this card can't be removed from your battle area by skills during your turn. That's the important thing, right? So obviously they have access to the Goku Black Rose, and the fact that you can just swing with this twice for 30k, forcing cards from hand, especially when it's sitting next to a Mai, so if they negate, they're obviously screwing themselves over. They don't want to do that at all either. It's very, very strong, and it just starts kind of wearing down their hand as much as possible. There is a second in the side, but I would consider maining 2, knowing that Crimson is around. I think it's just so very, very strong. And then we've got one Dark Broly. Obviously, no introduction. This card's ridiculous. Get rid of blockers if you need to. Only downside, obviously, is having 0/0 here. But other than that, love that card. I think it's absolutely incredible. Probably my favorite card in the deck, I would say. I know a few people I've seen are going to the Vegeta SCR, obviously with so much blue being around. I just think this is ridiculous. Sometimes you just windmill it to look at someone's hand. Like, even if it gets dirty bursted, you just look at someone's hand. You're a 25k, right? For your turn, plus the next turn as well, which means it's pretty much just stalling a whole turn. There's not many things that are base 25k. Everyone's having to combo up. I think it's ridiculous. I think hand knowledge is like one of the best things in this game. If you know what your opponent's hand is, you know what their next turn is potentially, that you can just even pluck that away as well. It's just like, you don't get that next turn. Monster. Ridiculous. Like, honestly, I think it's incredible. So I really, really like this. The fact that it's free as well, and then if you pair that alongside the Gogeta and be like, how much combo you got in hand? Oh, I can count. And then you Gogeta them and kill them, right? Absolutely insane. I think that's a very, very strong effect. And stealing super combo is always great too. Then onto the negates. So we had 3 after image, and then we have 3 testing the opposition, right? So again, just needed more negates for when you verse like any aggro deck like Sin or anything like that. It's just good to have this. Plus, if someone's stalling out, you want to get your super combos, this is kind of like another awakening thing, right? So if you pair this with the black Z card, really, really strong, because then you can go from 6 down to 5 and then go 5 to 4. And then you have your super combos left, right? So that's what's really, really nice. Is obviously, if this was, you could take it at any time, it would be absolutely incredible. The fact that you can't makes this even stronger, right? Very easy to get your sparking 5 in the drop area too. Right, very, very easy. So definitely like that ratio of negates. I think both are very strong. So that's main deck. We'll go on to Z deck. Obviously, the mandatory one-off, right? Have to have this. People will see that when I verse Reezy on stream, I didn't go into this in defense. People are probably yelling at me, but I knew the game state. If I was going into this in defense, I lost. No matter what. Even if I ripped an SCR off the top, because people said that if you rip the SCR off the top, maybe had a chance. He had Beast on in play. I would have had to swing with leader, potentially draw another card, right? I would have had to probably swing before I got the SCR. I would have had to dig for it because I wasn't drawing, obviously, for the start of the turn. I wasn't drawing. So I had to swing. He had Beast. He would have just untapped. Got energy back. He had 3 cards in hand. I'm assuming some of those were negates. No doubt, right? So unfortunately, it is what it is. If you have 100k on your turn, sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that. I knew what was going to happen. I knew how the game ended. So I didn't go for it. One of the Black Vegeta, obviously this card, very, very powerful. I feel like it's just mandatory in every deck now to have at least one. Again, just gets you down to your super combos.
Very useful card.
Plus, sometimes if you just need to tap out to go into this, it's 1 energy if you need it. Right, which is very, very strong too. I think that card just kind of, I use this a lot over the day. I use this like never, I swear. You never get to.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's either winning you the game or you've lost and there's no point using it.
Exactly right. Now, my favorite Z Battle card, I think, out of the moment, right? This card is just absolutely ridiculous. It's just so strong. Being able to just get like free attacks, free combo, just like Z getting there, you know, like it's just absolutely ridiculous. I think this is probably one of my favorite cards over the course of the whole weekend, right? This card is just very, very strong. Being able to swing twice with it, I just love that. And it's double strike the second time. It's got barrier. It's got plus 10k.
Ridiculous. There's a lot of outs for it now, but still, for 2 energy, you can't go wrong.
As long as you play around the outs, that's the thing. I was playing around the outs, obviously. I knew what people could do and what they had, so as long as you play around the outs, it's fine. But yes, definitely always think about that. And then my other favourite Z Battle card as well over the course of the weekend was this bad boy. I think the massive thing is that when you play this card, if your opponent has 4 or more life, they just take 1. Right? So now you're like, hey, cool, you're at a triple strike range. You're always at 3. You have to now think about Gogeta for the rest of the game. Plus, every time I swing in, you're having to defend a lot, and if you take a life, you're down to 2 to do a negate or something like that. You know, it's very, very strong. I like this against Crimson as well. I think this is probably one of my favorite Z Battle cards against Crimson. Just because you take them for that 4 to 3, and then you just keep pressuring as much as you can. If you pair that with Divine Presence, absolutely ridiculous. Very, very strong.
And the 4-1 ratio was okay. You're happy with 4 Vegeta, 1 Goku?
Yeah, I only really want to play this once over the course of the game. The Vegeta I want to play as many times as I can, if possible, right? So onto the side deck. So we got 1 raise, again, just an extra negate. You need it sometimes, right? You got to be safe. Got to hopefully find it against Sin or something like that, or anything like 2 Rogue that's going 30k. Obviously, RIP with the whole errata, which is sad. 2 Beerus Ball. Anyone playing Floodgates, obviously we knew Gammon was in the format. Very Floodgate heavy. Just clear it and just kind of keep going through if you can, right? Fingers crossed. More issue, I guess this is again, if people are going very wide, so again like Sin and stuff like that, sometimes it's nice, obviously not against the 30k unless you get that special window, but in the mirror match or just even in Crimson or anything that's going really wide, this is very, very strong card. Just being able to kind of slow them down, plus the fact that it's 3 is ridiculous too, right? That's very, very good. We then have 2 more Mai. This card needs no introduction again. It's absolutely ridiculous. Comes in against blue. Very, very strong. Only 2 Demigra. Again, it was one of those things where we had to find a spot in the side. Obviously very good against Sin, but there's only really 1 turn where it's like usable. Right? So if we found it, we found it. If we didn't, we didn't. It is what it is. Right? That's kind of how we were looking at it. The only other thing it was in there for is if someone played Gogeta and they go into their Broly. Right? So the SS4 Broly, you just kill that. Right?
Also good for Vegeta as well with their 35k blue 8 cost.
Exactly right. Probably one of the cards that came in the most over the weekend. Obviously Smoke. I was initially kind of like, is it really that good in a red deck? But there's definitely just times where, especially in your best of ones, you just like, this card isn't that good in this matchup. It's better just to bring in Smoke because then they play a unison. You just get rid of it for 2 energy. Because there's times, especially against Gamma and things like that, where they just floodgate you and then you just do the Smoke and kill it. Right?
It can lock so many decks out of playing.
It's huge. It's huge. So this card is absolutely ridiculous. Definitely needed in your yellow matchup too, right? Because Slug plus the 2 cost Unison of Fury of Vegeta as well. So both those cards are very detrimental. And then the other card that comes in against alongside that for Slug is obviously one of these. The main reason is because this one is searchable, which makes it a little bit stronger. Only downside is that it only hits battle cards. If you hit Unisons as well, I would say you just run 4 of this, but you need to have the 3-1, I think is right.
You start being problems if you have 4 black cards coming in instead of
That's the sad thing. So, and then little one-offs in the end. So this just makes it up to 3. As I said, this card's ridiculous. Anyone going wide, bring it in. Right, very, very strong. And then the last thing is the Divine Presence. Again, Crimson matchup, very, very strong. I would consider maining a second one. Potentially, if you're going to be playing into Crimson a lot, I think it'd be worth it.
Yep.
Again, that the Bean Gokus are coming out, so there's a potential that this guy comes in and Lies come in and things like that for that, right? You have to mess around with ratios and see how it goes, but this card's very, very strong.
Yep.
Highly recommend it more in the main.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Paxton. Any shout outs before we finish it?
Yes, so shout out to our sponsors, Team Card Time, and shout out to our local sponsor as well, Beyond. Obviously, those guys are hooking us up. Have a great space in Balcatta, if you're in Perth, come check it out. They do tabletop gaming, they do lots of card games like One Piece, Digi, Magic, PBS, obviously, but definitely check them out. Shout out to my teammate Chris as well. Me and him practiced this deck a lot. This man's behind the shoulder. He was the one that really put the deck together. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just sat in the background and I was like giving advice every now and then. I was his testing partner. And I feel like the only reason I got good at the deck is because he was so good at it and he showed me what to do a lot of the time, so we smashed a lot of games, so shout out to him. And then shout out to the local boy Harrison as well. We played a game, he didn't dog me on time, obviously he could have tried to stall out and kept going. He knew the game was over, he had no combo in hand, I had another turn to go through, he couldn't kill me. So he was like, you win, that's cool. So I respect that, I appreciate it, thank you Harrison. And shout out to all the viewers and all the people that subscribe to the channel, obviously we really appreciate it. A few of them came up to me over the weekend while we're over in Adelaide as well, always asking for more content and we're trying to produce it. I do have a full-time job and a partner, so I do try to make content when I can, but I'm doing it for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I'm glad you guys came up and said that you do. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this content, please remember to subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.